Happy New Year! I'm back after a bit of a break and to start back on my entrepreneurial journey. So, this is an update since I think September. So, I took the last quarter of the year off. So, I thought I'd just give everyone an update and share what I did, what I learned about myself, and also what is upcoming for the new year. So you'll see during that break, I did take a family trip to Vietnam. This is actually part of the Vietnamese coast called Da Nang Beach in the central part of Vietnam. So that's my family. It was a very nice beach and it was quite warm over there. So, similar to how I did it previously, I'm still doing the sprint process where I talk about the current sprint, demo what my accomplishments are, and then talk about upcoming plans and my next steps. But this one will be a bit more relaxing. Here's another picture of me, also in Vietnam, on the coconut forest that we took down the river, and they put us in these circular boats that spin. We did not spin, but it was definitely a different experience, a boating experience. So, if you stay tuned or watch my previous episodes, this is typically the format that I do. I talk about what was completed, what's in progress, and what's not started. So, I'll keep with a similar format just because it keeps me organized. But really, what's been happening is that I'll start with the in progress. I did a lot of self discovery, which I will share what I've learned. And I'm taking all that knowledge from that break and developing into a self management course content, which I plan on releasing later this month. But in the meantime, what have I completed in this? I'll call it Sprint Zero for project restarting. If you guys have followed along in the last project, I kind of stopped midway, realizing that I needed a bit of a break to really refocus and align myself and understand a little bit of what I was looking for. So now that I have a clearer picture and I'm practicing some new skills myself, I've come up with a 2025 high level plan, which I will share. I'm actually going to release a new name because I found a new partner to work with. So together we will start kind of driving the course of the company. So I'm really excited about that. One thing I learned is that being corporate in so long, I prefer much of a team environment, and going at it alone felt very lonely, I will say. So I'm super excited about that. Now, she will remain not on camera as of this point, as that is a choice that she's made. So, but that is completely okay as we are working together um, in producing the content. So 2025 is about 4 projects. We're breaking it into quarters, roughly 20 sprints and 4 breaks in between. So this is a high level project timeline, what it's going to be, where every quarter we'll kind of start a new project, do a set of sprints, take a break, and kind of go on and hopefully get some revenue is by the end of the year. But Q1, we're kind of not that restarting, but there are many, because we're renaming, redoing the logo, redoing the branding, the website and everything. We're kind of redoing all that over again. So I think the journey, as I'm sure any entrepreneur, as you learn things from the past, you apply them, and hopefully, what I've learned from the last year, it's going to be applied in this year. So this is our first project will be comprised of 5 sprints. And the main focus will be, like I said, just getting set up, and also really excited to launch that new free content online of self-management, which is one of the meta skills in my meta skills framework that I created last year. So I'll share that with you and more with the next sprint. So, one of the other things that I've learned, like I said, during this break, or actually the key things, is actually a lot about self management and kind of self awareness and all that. And one of the tools I want to share that really helped, their framework really helped me understand what was happening in my own mind, is the Seven Primal Questions by Mike Foster. So he actually has a free assessment out there if you go on, and I'll post this tomorrow in the newsletter with the link and everything. And so his theory is that after conducting interviews and research, is that all humans need these 7 primal needs. I'll just say. And he turns them into question because the concept is at some point in our childhood, one becomes the key and then becomes the what he calls the apex, kind of the primary questions that we're trying to that drives our life. So, and those seven things are safety, security, feeling love, feeling wanted, feeling successful, feeling good enough, and having a purpose. So, in his research, these are the seven things that we need. Just every human needs. And then the key is one becomes the primal question, which then drives what he calls in this next slide, the scramble. So when we have emerge as a primal question, it just means that one of those needs we felt as a usually in our childhood was highly unmet in our own interpretation, of course, as a childhood. So, for example, mine, I will although the test said it was safety, I think personally it is if I were and I bought the book and listened to it, that is, am I enough? And so if you come from an Asian household background or traditional Asian background, this is very common, right? As in our culture, a lot of times our the way they parent is that we are never enough. So is A minus enough we bring home? No, not really. You could have got 100, right? Or you could have got an A plus. Is an A enough or is this enough? There's this notion that I think culturally, if the parents help you feel that you're always searching for something, that you'll never give up and work hard. I'm sure the intent is very positive, but instead, what it ends up being is that a lot of us will feel we're just not enough. And and then what will that look like, right? So for me, and I think I had an inkling. I probably knew already with all the self help that I had done, but and I've talked about this before, until I stripped everything away, including my position, my title, and I think the last thing was probably pay. Not having that income come in, there was nothing validating me, nothing helping me answer that. Am I enough? Right. So even in a corporate environment, in the roles I was in, were mainly change roles, so leading change. So it's very common for me to not be liked, I would say, just because I am coming in and disrupting existing processes and saying, hey, we should do it a different way. That was very common. So I got used to that. But what I didn't know was that how I kept going, the validation the really came from, I think, from my pay in some way. So as long as work didn't pay, it's maybe people at work or team members disagreeing with me, I still had paycheck coming in. That and maybe alone helped me justify, okay, I can do this, I can keep going. So what happens if if primal question doesn't get answered, right? So if you look at the flow chart, if it's a yes, life is good, right? Hey, I got paid, I had a director title, people respected me, I had a team. Now if I have nothing, I was really in a scramble, what he calls, and this is where we get really chaotic behaviors until I find that yes. So I think that was what was happening when I was doing these videos. And I had read a lot about social media and how harmful it can get, just because of likes and not likes, and that feedback or negative feedback or lack of feedback that you get. So what I was searching for was that yes for am I enough, through, I guess, my posts or things like that. I was grabbing at everything. I think I was even applying to jobs. Before I even really gave this a try, right? I was applying to several different things because I needed that validation. So that was a big realization. And I think this is one, it's not that not any other self-help books talk about that. They all really talk about the same thing, but this framework really helped me see it. So what are we supposed to do instead? So now, what is, like I said, the biggest learning that I did is how to answer with your own needs. So all of us have this, like, see, these seven primal needs, all of us will have it. And it really drills down to our core belief. So if I believe I'm not enough inside, internally, very deep down, my core belief, now what I do is it's practicing answering from within, or switching that core belief around. So now, and it's hard because basically for years, for decades, I'm leaning on external validation to tell me that I'm worth something, right? Either from grades when I was in school or from, reward at work. Now, when there's nothing, there's nothing to lean on. And now to practice using those muscles that I've never used or rarely used. And it's going to be weak. I'm not going to lie. Like when I first think I got it, I think I told my husband maybe sometime in November, I was like, I think I got it. I figured it out. I got to answer this. I can do it. I feel like I'm standing on my own legs now, on my own 2 feet instead of leaning on something. And he was like, oh, don't get too excited yet. You just got on, kind of started maybe even walking. And he's right. It's a lot harder than it is, than you may think it is. So I'm picturing this image and I tried to draw it out, just didn't come out on the deck. But I think that's what I'm imagining. I'm trying to walk with these new muscles and it's just wobbly and it's still not all the way there, but at least I'm aware of it. So, and it doesn't just happen with just enough, actually, all these things. So once I answer enough, there's always, am I loved? And really inside, again, I am loved, I'm safe, I'm secure. That's what we should all be practicing to tell ourselves instead of leaning on the outside. So that is my biggest revelation. That is what I'm trying to practice this year. I know it'll be challenging, but I do feel a lot. All in the meantime, like I said, I took several kind of family vacations. One is, you see this top left corner is my son's birthday. So we went to Great Wolf Lodge. The boys always liked it because they had those wand games. So it's a good place for family and kids if you have any young children. They also have a water park that's included with the stay. We also took a trip to New York, not for work this time. Usually I go to New York for work. This is actually purely for pleasure. We went with another couple of families and also the boys, and I think they had a really good time. And then, of course, our big trip was to Vietnam. We spent a week of Thanksgiving over there, traveling to probably 4 to 5 different cities. So we started off in the south side in Ho Chi Minh. We flew to Da Nang, and then we went to north to Hoi An, which is where this coconut forest was. And we went to, like we said, the Da Nang beach, and we actually drove along the countryside, beautiful countryside, with the mountains and all. Because typically when we drive through mountains, it is kind of snowy or brown. Like LA mountains are kind of brown, but it was this lush green forest on these mountains. It was just gorgeous. So driving through the countryside to Hue, which is where the Vietnamese imperial city was back in the day. So we got to tour that. And then we ended up back in Ho Chi Minh and just enjoyed the time and got some. They are very affordable there, so we got some beauty treatments. I don't think I've washed my hair the whole week there, mainly because it's so affordable. Just pay someone to wash your hair. And then they had nails, everything. So ladies, it's actually a really affordable place to get beautified. There you go. And then we actually laid over a couple of times also in Singapore because my boys love Singapore. Just staying in the airport, 6 to 7 hours just flew by, and it just went by so fast. And the week went by really genuinely fast, but we learned a lot about Vietnamese history. So got to take the boys to learn about our heritage and all that. So it was a really, really great family experience. And of course, we enjoyed the holidays at home. This is just a family picture of us. We usually host a pretty big Christmas Eve kind of gathering with close friends and family. And then we spent the New Year's at home as well. So, and we wrapped up 2024, honestly, in a really, really really great time. And just, it was a really good year. So, now, what are the next steps? So tomorrow I'll go back to releasing a new LinkedIn newsletter edition. So continuing on, if you subscribe to that, just describing what the things I have here and putting out the links if you're interested in the 7 Primal Questions. Again, he does have a free assessment you can use. There's also a book that explains it, and it's a very simple framework to really look inside yourself, which I think that is what we're all kind of looking for, right? Sometimes when we read all these self-help books. So, and plan for next sprint. We will be announcing our new name. We'll have some new branding, a new website. So the old website no longer was taken down. I guess it was good timing. They changed their plan. It was using a free plan before. So they changed it to sign up for a trial. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just close everything out. We'll also have some new social media accounts. So probably branching into Instagram with the help of my partner. And then what I'm really excited about is this new self-management training series, which I will be doing once I will start releasing in after sprint one, the goal is on a weekly basis. I've developed probably two episodes or two content, two modules. Still trying to play with how I want to refer to it. And I'm really excited about it. And the goal of that really is to help us understand our internal state of mind. And I'm adapting a lot of the things that I learned during over the years and in this period of self-discovery into hopefully understandable, easier to understand steps for everyone, but also provide kind of free exercises and worksheets for you to test, to try on yourself as well. So I'm really excited about that, and the content is looking really good, at least in my own humble opinion. So this is what the new sprint looks like. I am going to shift to a Friday start, which means that this demo will be on Wednesdays instead of Tuesday. Just it works better with the two people working together, and then release on Thursday. So just a slight shift, but the plan is kind of generally the same. And like I said before, I generally do this type of sprint schedule, just because I know it works, and also it's just kind of keeping us moving on a week to week basis. So see our schedule here internally, but really you won't see us until the final demo. So lastly, I will end with this. So there are two questions I've always asked my friends and family every new year. And it's this: how would you sum up your year in one word and why? And what do you look forward to in the new year? So feel free to answer. I would love to hear your answers as well. If you have that, I think I've been asking this for at least, I don't know, at least maybe 5 to 10 years, just asking. I think it's just a really good way to think about what last year meant and what exciting things we have in the upcoming year. So I'll share mine. My one word for 2024 is growth. I felt that I've grown a lot, especially introspectively. So I think that's a really big accomplishment. I don't think I would have been able to done that type of kind of self-discovery without leaving my job. Not encouraging people just go leave your corporate job and behind. It just helped when there was just more time to think through things and really understand these self-help books and kind of practice those skills. So, and I really like this quote that I stumbled upon, and I'll paraphrase it because I don't remember the exact words, but it goes something like this. Some seasons we grow fruits, some seasons we prune our stems or branches, and in some seasons our roots grow deep. So don't remember who the author was, but this is a quote, a paraphrase. But I just felt like last year, 2024, was about growing my roots deep and really understanding, and not about producing fruits. I did try to prune. I did try to actually trim down on trying to cut down on the things we have in our home, and trying to slowly kind of declutter. But yeah, mostly it was about growth. So in 2025, I'm really looking forward to practice the skills that I've learned, right? Practice answering my own needs. So practicing that I am enough, like not just saying it, but believing it, answering my own, that I am loved, I am wanted, I am safe, just those 7 primal questions. And I would encourage you, if you're listening to this and you're struggling a little bit and you're trying to understand, sometimes just saying I am loved, I'm wanted, I'm safe does wonder, because inside, deep inside, even if you can't see it, that really is what you're asking for. So I'd love to hear your answers as well. Share it in the comments if you're watching this later. I just think it's a fun way to start off the new year. Thank you for listening in, even if you're doing this afterwards. I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.